The Durian Heat, bringing big ideas and critical opinions in Southeast Asia.
You're now listening to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. My name is Grace Cho, and you're at the Durian Heat, the last segment of the interview, where I've been conversing with the director of M Talent Asia, Manisha Jagan, on art entrepreneurship. Let's continue our conversation here from the previous segment. Talking about platforms, the first thing it hits my mind is TED Talk. And then there are a lot of musicians, artists, they want to stage and they share their experiences and so on. But I figure that it doesn't go beyond that. It just stops there. What I really wish to see is when there's a talk given to the audience, how do we maintain after that? What's the outcome after that?
Good question. I think that when I was in school, we used to have these talks and these intensive classes before your big public exam, like PMR, SPM. You go and attend these talks. And there was one time one of these tutors was saying you don't attend this talk and then take the notes and pray at it, put it on a pedestal and just pray I hope I get an A, I hope I get an A. You have to take it and you have to make effort. You have to do the exercises, you have to go and practice. So it's the same thing of going for these talks. What do you do after that? You get inspired and you need to take action. You need to take action, and definitely if you're a freelancer, art entrepreneur, artist, whatever it is, I think drive and commitment and discipline is really important. So once you go for these things, then after that the next step is yours. You have to take some action. And I think how to take action is the easy way is, one is you look for people that can help you achieve certain things, or you venture out and try new things, go out of your comfort zone, definitely. And then after that, make sure you track back what you've done, so you said, okay, now how do I go further? So it's always you can't plan 100 steps. You can see the vision and the mission of what you want to do, but I think the most important is just continuously doing 3 steps. And then when you do 3 steps, you will see the next 3 steps. And then after you do 3 steps, you'll see a further next 3. So just keeping that consistency going. So I think that's what's needed after you go for this kind of sharing or learning and stuff. Then you have to take action.
Well, that comes with the self-discipline, of course. You need to have a checkpoint every certain period of time. But we're talking about artists here. We're very, I would say, special people and also very sensitive people here. We just want to be free-spirited and we want to be inspired by something. So when it comes to checkpoint, we are not that disciplined unless we are talking about business there. So don't you think we need another platform or monitoring system for artists to send you emails or WhatsApp or anything, messages? Have you done that?
I guess that's why I opened this business. To manage talent, because that's the thing. I think creative people are wonderful at what they do. They're definitely wonderful, and not everyone needs their managers, because some personalities they have everything sorted out. They know how to balance it. But some creative people are very their strengths might be really strong at certain parts, and they might need help in other parts. And especially if you're looking long term, if you're looking at being a really successful, going out there, kind of big artist, with a lot of following and fans and all that, then eventually you need to realize that you need a team. You need a team, so you can't do it alone. No one successful is doing it alone. Rihanna, Drake, Jay-Z, Beyonce.
That's very true.
Nobody. Everyone has a team. Oprah has 50 people to make her look just good on stage. So it might look like one personality there, but behind the scenes there are so many people driving it, whether directly or indirectly. So I think I think that definitely helps. So talent, even though that they're sensitive, or they might have a certain way of doing things, the faster that they realize that, okay, this is what I want to do, or these are the things I want to do, and these are the steps I need to take, then the faster the the ball can start rolling. So it all starts with them, because
Right.
they need to make that kind of decision. So it all boils down to mindset. And when it boils down to mindset, who's going to shift or change mindset, then it boils down on the community and the environment,
Right.
and the culture. So it's actually it's a long process. It takes time, but I'm here to try.
Right, you're here to help us. Yeah. So we've been talking about artists and also art entrepreneurship here.
Yeah.
I have a huge question here. Does an artist really need to have the skills, like management skills,
Yeah.
or PR skills,
Yeah.
when it comes to being an artist, or just the pure performance skills only?
I've met different people, and no one's perfect. Even myself, I'm not perfect, but I think whatever that they need or lack needs to be kind of like discussed within the team. And then whether you want to, what they say, the traditional way of saying it is like, if you have strengths, you maximize your strengths. And if you have weaknesses, then you make sure you work on them so they're not so much of a weakness. It's like a SWOT analysis. You have your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you need to be. It'll be good if people are more balanced, definitely, for sure. It's not only for people that are working with them, but it's also for themselves. Because it'd be good when they're aware of like career advancements.
Right.
Career advancements, then what is going on in their lives. That's always good, because I think eventually they'll have to learn anyway. So that's the thing. If you focus too much on performance, then who's going to take care of the other
Exactly.
side? If you focus too much on one side, then who's going to take care of performance? So it's all about a balance, a good healthy balance. But I think striving for balance is a lifetime
Learning steps, yes.
work in progress.
Yeah.
So like I think just accepting what stage you are in faster, that helps. Like I think like the other time I gave a talk at UCSI.
Right.
I think like last week or 2 weeks before, thanks to Clio magazine. So what I was even telling the students there, I said the more conversations you have with yourself earlier, the better it's going to be. That's personally what I did. So I think like everyone, even at whatever age, I think it's always important to ask yourself these questions and come into acceptance at what stage you are faster, so that you can move the ball along.
Right. We have shared so many aspects when it comes to art entrepreneurship and of course being an artist. But let's not forget that we also need to talk about perks of being an artist. And as well as, when you think of art, when you imagine an artist, you think of all this glamorous side, all this glitters and glams here and there. Can we just talk about it? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think there is a lot of... Well, let's start with the perks.
Sure.
I think let's start with the perks. I think definitely we get to meet some very interesting people, get to showcase people's art. So that's always nice, because I think once if you're creative, you want to get people to notice your work.
Right.
So that's always nice to have like an audience, to eventually build to an audience. And I think getting to sometimes we work with great sponsors, with great partners, and then we get to wear like nice clothes. Like shout out to Try Hamsa. I'm wearing
nice.
Try Hamsa's dress today. So that's a great partner that I work with. So I think that's definitely one of the perks. And then photos, we never have enough photos. So I think like sometimes life goes by and you like don't really take or remember a lot of great things, but we get to remember it by having a lot of great photos everywhere.
Yes, of course.
We have to look good a lot of
and of course,
most of the time.
Of course, we'll just keep on changing our profile pictures.
Yes, funny story about that one. And then the other thing I think is meeting great people.
Right.
Definitely rubbing shoulders with some very interesting people. That's always fun. And I think people paying attention, that could be a perk. So I guess I got some attention here. I'm here today, even though I started a little new business not too long ago. So that's good. And I think it's something people are definitely always interested in, because it's fun. Like art is fun.
Exciting
it's
as well.
exciting.
Yeah.
It's like music, it's like fashion,
Painting.
it's modeling,
Yeah.
painting. All those things are like really fun, creative output content. So people always wanna check that out. So I think that's nice. It reaches a bigger audience. Like rather than if you talk about something pretty dry. So I used to also debate in university. which helps me in my public speaking, but it was really interesting, and that's a really small community and as well, but really a good one definitely. But this one reaches a wider audience, so that's fun to have.
Another amazing
parties,
part.
a lot of parties.
Yes, I was about to go there. Yeah, a lot of events and parties.
Yes,
yeah,
a lot of events and parties. So I think that's always fun. Even going to support another artist is always fun, because you see a lot of great stuff being put out there, and then you get to attend a lot of parties. But sometimes you just get now we can move to the
next level.
to the next level on the con. Sometimes it gets tiring. It definitely gets tiring. You always have to maintain like a kind of stance, or you're a public figure,
right?
Things like that. You definitely have to maintain. I think that also comes with stereotypes, like you said. So some people might only see the screen life, that things are very, very glamorous. Things are very happy. Everything's going great. But we also go through a lot of struggles.
Of course.
I think my talents go through a lot of hard work and struggle. But sometimes not necessarily everyone wants to see that grimy side. But I think now and the next generation, they want to know that. They want to know the process. So I think that's something that we'll definitely begin to share more on. But for now, I think people like to see, always people like to see good news. But it's very hard to get there and to maintain that.
Right.
Many times, I think my own talents have had very, 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 very tough days where they could even go through like a death in the family, or like a certain emergency, and they still need to appear and do something because that's your job.
Yeah.
And they might not be feeling, so many times I think they've not felt well. And just like athletes, athletes sometimes get sick too, and that affects their performance. And same thing with talents. Like, if you have a creative block, you sometimes can't create, and you need to deliver something within a time. Or the other thing is like you need to go for a shoot,
right.
you need to go for a performance, and you cannot move the date, even if you're sick. So that's another struggle that people might not see. And then I think like for things that are beautiful, like for models and stuff, they definitely have the stereotype like, oh, these people, probably they're not very smart on top.
Yes, especially when it comes to female models.
Pretty girl.
Yeah.
But okay, everyone has some essence. Everyone's hustling. To get themselves out there. So just like how a business markets itself, brands and personalities need to do the same. So I think sometimes the message doesn't get across.
Right, that's very true.
And that's why people have these stereotypes.
Well, it's very good point that you mentioned. Also, to educate our next generation, they gotta know what we are going through. So they have to consider, am I putting my right step into this industry? Well, before we end our interviews here, how do we find you, Manisha?
Okay, well, you can definitely keep up with the updates on what we're doing at our website. So that's www.mtalentasia.com. And then we're on our 3 main social media platforms. We're on Facebook, so it's facebook.com/mtalentasia. We're on Instagram. Our handle is mtalentasia. Same thing for Twitter. So please follow us and keep up with our updates. Sign up for a newsletter. We're revamping a couple of things this year. So please keep in touch and just hit me up.
Right. Okay, thank you so much, Manisha.
Okay, thank you guys.
You can listen to this interview with Manisha Jagan on YouTube and our website, DurianASEAN.com. You're now listening to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.